said to me, you know, your name is radioactive, it reeks of elitism and mental instability. And I said, what, Karen? And he said, no, mommy. Teenagers. I have two teenagers, 15 and 17. I love, love, love them so much because they give me so much material. Maybe not as much now because they'll get mad and I need somebody to help me with my computer. But when they were younger, boy, I mean, I remember when my little one was about 4 years old, he said to me, he said, Mommy, when I grow up, if I have a little baby, does that mean you're going to be a grandma? I said, oh, you are dear. That's what it means. And then his older brother, who's kind of a smarty pants, like he refers to me as his birth mother. He says, Mommy, when I grow up, if I don't have a baby, does that mean you're just going to be an old lady? And I said, you're right. And instinct tells me, with that level of charm, you're going to be my roommate. I think they hated my cooking. I heard one of them say to the other, even her noodles are bad. The older one said to me, Mama, Grandma's a better cook than you. The only thing I like better that you make than what Grandma makes is soup. And that's because you make less of it. I'm like, that's so interesting. Because the only thing I like about you, better than your little brother, is your school day is longer. At least he's honest, right? At least he's honest. My little one was something of a liar. I remember when he was only 2, he went to his very first birthday party. He'd eaten 2 cupcakes. He was a little chubby, fat, whatever, relaxed if you shop at the Gap. And he said, may I have another cupcake? And I said, no. He said it again. May I have another cupcake? And I said, no. And then he turns to the mom of the birthday boy. May I have another cupcake? She's like, your mommy said no. And he said, that's not my mommy. He would throw me under a bus for icing. He was so cute at that. I remember just him sitting on my lap, staring into my eyes. And then suddenly he said, oh, Mommy, what's that? And I said, what? He said, the lines. What are those lines? And I said, oh, honeybee, those are called wrinkles. You can only see them up close. Jumped off my lap, ran to the other side of the room, and said, I can still see them. The hardest thing, I think, when you have little kids is the questions. It's constant, and you have to have patience. One day, my older son wouldn't stop. Mama, if you were to give birth to a crater, would you rather it be a girl crater or a boy crater? Mama, what if I ate a building? Mama, how many dimes will fit in my room? Mama, when was the first time you ever smelled a banana? So I'm having a stroke. I don't know if it's a real stroke, but it's like that vein here is like popping, right? And then he asks a real question. He goes, Mama, what's a baby cow called? And I'm like, a veal. And I realized I needed a breath, right? I needed a breath. And I said, honeybee, let's just go 5 minutes. 5 minutes, please, with no questions. Why, Mama, why? Why no questions? Don't you love me? I love you. Why don't you love me? 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 Why don't you? I called my husband and told him this. He's like, now you know what it's like to have a wife. us complain, right? I love my kids. I think they're great. But who wants to hear a stranger get up for 10 minutes and brag about their kids, right? You know those parents, the ones that put them on the phone, their kid on the phone with you the second they learn a word. Sometimes they have them answering the phone even though they can't process or transcribe information. I call my friends up to wish them a Merry Christmas. I get this. I'm like, cute, no such thing as Santa Claus. Can you put your mommy on the phone? Or they tell you every single thing the kid says and thinks, even when it's something you never want to hear. My friend called me up just last week. She said, you know what, Karen? My Jordan likes your hair better the other way. I said, well, your Jordan called me and asked me how he could contact social services. Too much information, right? Even on the birth announcement, people have to give you the exact weight of their baby. Like I care. I want to know the weight of the mother. Sure if I'd be a good mom. I was really insecure. And then I realized I knew I was ready at this one time. I'm going to share it with you. I was on an airplane, and there was a little boy, he must have been 2 years old, like right behind me, crying and crying, and I felt awful. I'm thinking, what can I do? And then I remembered I had a piece of candy in my pocket. I took it out, I plopped it in my mouth, and then I felt a whole lot better. The worst offenders are the people with the Christmas card newsletters. Those, you know those, right? Where people just a series of brags. Every so often, there might be a footnote with a reference to fat camp, but generally, it's a lot of self-praise, right? We've had a powerful year. Baby Timmy, at the age of 8, has been asked to design the Freedom Tower. His little sister, Saffron Ophelia, at the age of 3, will be playing the harpsichord at Carnegie Hall. And as a family, we're all taking a walking trip around the world. I wrote my trip around the world. I wrote my own newsletter after that one. We've had a powerful year. Baby Teddy, at the age of 4, can dismantle a phone and eat the battery in a single sitting. His older brother, Danny, picks his nose and his bottom at the very same time. And as a family, we're all taking Nexium. Now my Christmas card is basically a picture of me in front of a Chico's. And for those of you who might not know what Chico's is, it's a store for women who no longer wish to button their pants. But they can tie that outfit together with a statement necklace. The statement being, I can't button my pants.